So going forward, these reviews for WandaVision are now going to have spoilers. I just feel like to talk about these episodes, I have to talk about them in their full capacity. So that's your spoiler warning. Let's get into WandaVision Episode 3. So WandaVision Episode 3 picks up right where Episode 2 left off, with Wanda and Vision dealing with their pregnancy, this time in color. This episode of WandaVision jumps into the 70s sitcom format, and Episode 3 really centers around this whole idea of Wanda's pregnancy and the fact that it's accelerating at an alarming rate. By Vision's calculations, she is going to give birth by the end of the week. And so a large majority of this episode is spent with Wanda and Vision preparing to have their babies, which is fun. I gotta say, the thing about WandaVision that I'm really enjoying so far is just seeing Wanda and Vision interact more, getting to see that relationship that was so briefly touched upon in the movies, and seeing how well these characters just play off of each other in this show makes that relationship way more investing. Even in hindsight, looking back in retrospect, the relationship just feels a little bit more special now that we've had some more time with them in WandaVision, even if WandaVision isn't exactly a true thing going on, but we'll get into that a little later. So just like in the previous episodes of WandaVision, we see that things aren't quite right, and there's subtle hints that things in this reality aren't what they seem. And in this episode, Vision actually starts to allude to knowing that something's not quite right here, something is wrong. In which case, the episode jumps back to before Vision has his suspicions, and it plays out without those suspicions, and Vision just goes on along with the events that are occurring in this reality. Which is the first kind of hint in this episode, not the last, that Wanda does have control of this reality. We saw a little bit of that control in WandaVision episode 1 and 2, especially at the end of episode 2, where the beekeeper came out of that sewer and she said no, and the film rewind to before that event happened and the episode played out the way that she wanted it to. We see that kind of thing happen again with her and Vision when Vision starts to have suspicions about this reality. Which, am I the only one who thought that Disney Plus had like a glitch or an error when that jump back happened? It was so sudden and so sharp that I thought the app just had like some kind of malfunction with everyone watching it at the same time. I watched it right when it dropped at midnight, so that was kind of confusing for me. I thought it was kind of funny the way that that played out. But from there, Wanda starts having her contractions for her birth, and you see that her powers are starting to go crazy as these contractions keep happening, and that's kind of where her fantasy of the reality and real life kind of break. You start to really see a little bit more of what's going on with this reality as Wanda is having these contractions and she can't control what she's doing with her powers. Her power shuts down the whole town's power. When her water breaks, her pipes bust. You see this like fountain of water pour down on Vision and Wanda as her water breaks. And we also learn that the water pipes burst in all the other neighbors' houses as well. Speaking of which, the residents in this town started to show their hand a little bit more in this episode. They even start to break character a little bit, whether it's by dropping their fake voices or their fake smiles. And the character who makes the biggest offense of this is Geraldine. So Vision rushes off to go find the doctor because Wanda is like gonna have her babies very soon. And Geraldine stops by her house, and we get some shenanigans that ensue. Honestly, this episode of WandaVision with the sitcom format wasn't as funny as the other two episodes. I didn't really laugh very much, or actually I don't think I laughed at all during this episode of WandaVision. And I also felt the canned laughter and the laugh tracks were misused a lot in this episode, or overused in this episode, which I know is kind of like a joke. I think they're playing a parody on that trope, but it was like they just used the laugh track a little too much. In episodes 1 and 2, when a legitimate joke happened or something funny happened, like slapstick, they played the laugh track. Here it's like a doorbell rings and they play the laugh track. It was really distracting this time around for me. But anyway, Geraldine comes over to check up on Wanda, and Wanda's powers are going crazy. She creates like a stork behind Geraldine, and Geraldine doesn't know the stork's there. Wanda has to keep the stork from being seen by Geraldine. Very like tropey, generic stuff. It wasn't that funny, but I don't think that was also the point. But Geraldine is there when Wanda eventually delivers her babies. She has twins. They name them Tommy and Billy. And this is where things in the episode got really interesting, because Vision's outside talking to the neighbors, and the neighbors are whispering to each other behind Vision. Vision's going, "What's going on? What's going on with you guys?" And they're kind of dropping their personas a little bit. And you got the one neighbor who's like about to spill the beans, but the other neighbor stops, and Vision's like, "What's going on?" And as all this is going on, you have on the inside, you have Geraldine and Wanda's talking to Geraldine about her brother, who we know as Quicksilver. I think she calls him Pietro. Which this was the first time that Quicksilver was even mentioned or alluded to in the MCU since his death. So it's nice to see that he's remembered, because I don't think they've ever brought him up again in the movies after he died in Age of Ultron. But Wanda's telling Geraldine about her brother who she lost, and Geraldine kind of like drops her face and goes, "He was killed by Ultron, wasn't he?" And you just see Wanda go, "What?" Wanda is not happy with the fact that Geraldine knows that. And you start to see that Geraldine, she's trying to slip back into the role that Wanda wants her to play. She tries to slip back into her character, but it's done. Wanda knows that Geraldine knows something about what's really going on in this world. Wanda looks down and notices this necklace around her neck and says, "What is that necklace? Who are you?" And it's got a sword coming out of a circle. And we've seen this symbol in the episodes before, very subtly. This is the first time that they've really blatantly been like, look at this symbol. But it was on the helicopter, and it was on the back of the beekeeper who came out of the sewer. And so Wanda freaks out, and when Vision returns inside, she has this really creepy look on her face, and Vision asks, like, "Hey, where's Geraldine?" And Wanda's just like, "Oh, she had to rush home. She had to go home." And she's got this really kind of eerie look to her, an eerie feel around the whole atmosphere. And then the aspect ratio stretches out to 16:9, and we see Geraldine come flying out of this like force field, like this invisible force field. She comes flying out. She was ejected from Wanda's reality. Wanda obviously, at least I think, Wanda banished her from her reality because she got too close to knowing the truth, or she revealed that she knew the truth. And she lands on this military base, and all these military guys come to pick her up, and the episode ends right there. So that's episode 3 of WandaVision. We got pretty much the same kind of stuff we got from episodes 1 and 2. It was a sitcom format. Wanda trying to hide her powers, hide her pregnancy, and they're going haywire, and she has to keep it from the town residents. But there was definitely a lot more interesting, intriguing things going on with this episode, with the mystery aspect. And I like that by the end of this episode, they gave a lot, but they didn't fully explain what's going on. There's still a lot more that I want to know by the end of this episode. I do suspect that Wanda knows that she's in this reality. I do suspect that she is playing her role in this reality. I think that she has control in it. I don't think that she doesn't know what's going on. I think she knows exactly what's going on because she created it. And I think this is just the beginning of her downward spiral, because I don't think her secret's going to be kept for much longer. Anyway, guys, those are all my thoughts and opinions and my recap of WandaVision episode 3. I enjoyed this episode. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as 1 and 2 for the sitcom stuff, but definitely more intrigued than I was in episode 1 and 2. Can't wait for episode 4. But what did you guys think of WandaVision episode 3? Comment down below, let me know. I want to know all your thoughts and opinions about this episode. And if you like this video, guys, go on and click that like button. And if you would like to talk more WandaVision with me as I release these episode recaps and reviews weekly as the episodes drop every Friday, then I would suggest clicking that subscribe button so you can join me for this journey. I would hate for you to miss out on it. As always, guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video and checking out my channel. Once again, my name is Zachary Milne. Thank you for talking movies with me, and hope you have yourself a great day.